do this yourself. You don't. Somebody might be able to lay you down and teach you and like detail every little lymph node and your lymph vessels, but you can go home and start changing this immediately. Now, it is not voluntary like your blood. Your blood, you breathe, your blood moves. This system moves by touch, by blood flow, but it doesn't move on its own as its own unit. You have to make it move. You're going to have to keep it moving. And it moves primarily by breath and emotion. It is the system of attachment. The positive word is the system of security. It's how we fight infection, bacteria, fungus, any foreign invader coming through your body gets killed off and digested by your immune functions in this rasa, this river of life, as Ayurveda calls it, the river of life. It is a one-way river. It comes from your feet to your heart, hands to heart, head to heart. It drains at this blue vein right here. I'm going to pass around some of the same books. Oh, you want to grab it? Cool. And look at that one's tagged. You can see how well these are used. So, Rasa, River of Life, page 125. So it drains at the subclavian vein, right below the clavicle. This is its main drain. There's more drainage on the left side, but there is drainage on the left and the right. But you have your thoracic duct over here, and there is almost double the drainage happens on the left. It's made up of lymph vessels and lymph nodes. Vessels are the thorough way of the river. Nodes are like a deep pond in the river, or the river met a lake. They're standing places, and that's where all your immune function lives. It moves through those vessels to fight. That's how it gets from one place to another, is through all these rivers. But those lymph nodes are where they bring all that foreign invader in, and they digest it, and they kill it. This is the simplest picture I could show you to learn this river. And it's also a very impressive picture, even though it's so basic. To me, it's so basic. But if you move this system, you're moving it towards the heart. Yeah, Jude?
So what's in the lymph? Is that where there's white blood cells, or what's
Well, white blood cells are made by the spleen, which is your immune organ. That immune organ sends that out in the form of immunoglobulins, platelets, B cells, T cells, you know, all the components that make up your warriors and the fighters in your body. And they are made in the spleen by those white blood cells, and then it's taken out into this river, and then they forage around looking for foreign invaders. And they all work as a unit, different parts of the warriors, different aspects to fight whatever needs to be broken down. Now, there's a couple more pieces to this. Once it goes into this subclavian vein, it reaches your blood. So it drains to your blood. Your lymph feeds your blood. Your lymph also drains to your blood. Where it goes from there is your liver. And your liver says, I can recycle this. I'm going to turn this in to a value. I'm going to make red blood cells with whatever's possible. I'm going to help form the viscosity of blood, and I'm going to really help the liver out, and I'm going to recycle this. And then anything that is of liquid waste goes out your urinary and your sweat to the excretory. And anything that is of solid waste has to move through and permeate the liver back into the small intestines, and then you move it through your bowels. So we release out of our urine, sweat, and feces via the liver. And the beauty is, right, I've said to you the spleen is dependent on the liver. It's dependent on the liver. Right? So not only does the liver, it goes back to the liver, but then the liver says, this is what I was able to recycle, and I'm going to give it back to you, spleen, and it keeps the cycle going. So that is kind of the base of this system. That is just the, oh my gosh, tip of the iceberg, tip of the iceberg. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit more of a literal picture, and I'm going to show you this picture because this is your warrior lymph. These are the lymphs that talk, that says, I am fighting for you. It's like a siren saying, I need to get through. I am working on getting to the hospital. And it's called an immune response or an inflammatory response. And your body literally puts off a siren and says, whoa, 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 rest is needed. The lymph changes by rest. It can change in 12 hours if you rest. If you don't rest, it is not going to change in 12 hours. That's probably the hardest thing about the lymph, because we're not designed to be like, I need to rest today, my lymph is feeling low. This is a literal illustration. So, no more purple lines. And this is the neck. You're looking at it like this. That's the neck. These are all the lymph nodes that swell up, give you congestion, and talk loud to tell you, I'm fighting for you. I want you to know I'm fighting for you, and I'm going to give you a sign. Isn't this an amazing picture?
Wow.
And there's other pictures in here that you guys can look at, but that's just such an important one. You can see the subclavian vein. Here is the lymph that connects, this is in your lower cavity. So you noticed in that picture how you had like purple lines that were coming up? This is down in the sacrum, connected to your nervous system. And I have one more series of pictures to share. It's the lower body. So there's all this surface lymph. Notice these lymph nodes are like on muscle, but these lymph nodes are in your cavity, right? So you have surface lymph. Every time you touch your body, it activates your lymph. Now, if you have a big old dam in the river of your lymph node, if it's clogged, this isn't going to change anything. You might have to go in and pump that lymph node. You might have to break it up. You might have to squeeze it a little. You might have to work it around. Then this again would make it move. You know? And so there's a lot of light touch lymphatic, which is like that surface lymph. And then there's deep lymphatic when you're trying to get the lymph nodes around your liver or the lymph nodes in your spine. You're trying to get those to change. Now, this is the most brilliant book. So these are wax figures from the 1600s. Literal wax figures. Some still exist, and they're in museums. You can see the 1600s drama. Look at the drama. She's all like, I'm splayed open. Artistically, that is. Right? Look at it. It's just amazing. Can you believe that's wax? The body was art. The body was art. They went the distance to show the beauty of this system.
It's a long time ago.
Yes. It's amazing they're still around. It makes me so happy. So in here, I'm going to show you some of the best lymph pictures I can possibly show you. So first off, again, drama queen. But look at this lymph. That's literally what your lymph looks like. I'm going to show you, see how it's all around the heart. in the core. Here's lymph around every one of your organs. There's the lymph at your psoas, at your spine. So here's the spine. I'll show you too. I know. Look at, here's all the ones showing connection. And then look at this surface. Well, a lot of them have. So they don't have them all.
These were photographed when and more current day.
These are the ones that I guess, see, look at this. The core lymph splayed open all the organs. Here's some round organs, and then look at this. So you have, here, I'll let you guys kind of look at these now. So you have not only your warrior lymph here, but you've got all the lymph in your soft tissue. Think of lymph as, it's everywhere. But the places where you can really get to are your soft tissue. You got to get in your armpit, you got to get around the breast tissue, you got to get down in the abdominal, you got to get in here, you got to get down really into the perineum. We have lymph nodes that get clogged. You know, you get that mounding, like clogging in behind the knees, or someone will have mounding, clogging in the armpit. And those are the ones you really want to change. Now think about this as a river. If this is where it drains, and if someone's got edema down at their feet, I can't just push that edema. It's down there because of a flood. The river is flooded. I'm going to have to open here if I want that to drain. If I've got swelling in the hands, or even a rash in the hands that I think are happening because of the immune system reacting, I'm going to have to open up here to get it to have a place to access, you know, to release. So really think of it as a river. If you got an issue here, you're going to want to open this all up and then work it towards the heart. So when you do a salt scrub and I say turn pink, move on, it means you want to turn pink to where your lymph is activated and your blood is flowing. And if you can't get full pink somewhere, you know your lymph and blood are not moving adequately. That's why if you can turn all pink, you know your lymph and blood are moving relatively good. But if you get blotchy, or you're just like, how long am I going to work on these hips, man? I can't even get them to turn color. That's stagnation. And I can guarantee you, the areas you don't love about your body, there is lymphatic imbalance. So if there's a place where you gain your weight, you're like, that lymph is not moving. The only way it's going to change is to address it, touch it, move it, change it. And then you feel totally different about it.
So